Hey up everybody, how you all doing? Welcome back. I hope you're good. I hope you're having a great day. Right, I'm doing all 50 states in America ranked worst to best. I have done best cities and best small towns and things like that, but this is obviously coming from a different perspective, isn't it? All 50 states in America worst to best. But yeah, I want to learn everything good and bad. But yeah, it looks interesting to me, so I'm going to get on with it. It's from here to there. That's the name of the channel. Right, subscribe. I'll give it a like. Right, let's go. I'm not even going to put any suggestions of where I think it might go because I haven't got a clue and I don't really have an opinion because I've never been there. Hopefully this has been done by an American. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, whether you think they're right or not. But let's get on with it first.
50 states, one video, and
American
only one state can come out on top. Will it be yours?
See, I feel better that it's actually an American talking about it. He's got the right to, I suppose.
50 states, one video, and only one state can come out on top. Will it be yours? Find out as we ruthlessly rank all 50 states from worst to best, based on their economy, safety, cost of...
And I know I need to be careful as well because the beautiful cities and towns ones that I checked out, I was told in the comments that most of the images, or a lot of the images, was AI. So I've got to be careful with these. I don't know what's real or AI anymore, but that picture there, that view looked beautiful. But yeah, help me out as well, because you normally do. Let me know if any pictures are AI. Normally I think I could tell, but obviously not these days.
Come out on top. Will it be yours? Find out as we ruthlessly rank all 50
real.
states from worst.
But there's a ship right there. So now that's putting me off. Is this real? There's a ship right up here, or something that looks like a ship anyway.
Worst to best, based on their economy, safety, cost of living, schools, quality of life, and my opinion.
Oh, right, I was just about to say, so he's using stats then, until he added his opinion there. Right, I can't tell what his accent is. Whereabouts in America he'd be from. So with his own opinion, I'm going to say his state is going to tell us that his state's the best, but I can't guess.
3, 2, 1. Let the games begin.
He might not be biased.
Number 50, Louisiana. Not even all the hurricanes can wash away the worst pollution levels in the country. But you know what they can wash away? Any infrastructure Louisiana does manage to build when it's not being robbed by its own government, as it's by far the most corrupt state. So it shouldn't be a shock that it's also the third most...
Well, see, this is definitely going to be teaching me something of every damn state, innit? If it's starting off like that, I didn't tell him about the bad bits. But again, let me know if he over-exaggerates or he's telling the truth.
Dangerous state since there's virtually no economic opportunity. Number 49, Mississippi. Don't get cocky, Mississippi. The only reason you're not dead last is because you know your worth less is you're the cheapest state. I mean, at least Louisiana has New Orleans, while all you have is 94% of the farm-raised catfish in the US. Oh, and also the lowest incomes, highest poverty rate, highest obesity rate, worst healthcare, and lowest life expectancy. Number 40.
Hey, at least you're richer than us Brits now. I reacted to was it British Guy Reacts going around asking people where we ranked as Britain if we became the 51st state, how rich we'd be compared to other states. Turns out that we'd be the 51st state. Most people probably were trying to say like 7th or something, and that's kind of where I'd have guessed a few years ago. But since I've learned what's been going on, I'd have said last 51st.
48. New Mexico. Despite, and also the lowest incomes, highest poverty rate, highest obesity rate, worst healthcare, and lowest life expectancy. Number 48. New Mexico. Despite New Mexico being the most dangerous state and having the worst schooling system and a terrible economy, the median home still costs 260 grand, which is a lot more than the other states that suck this bad. But if you've ever driven through Taos or Georgia O'Keeffe country, I'm sure you can see why.
That looked as though it was in the middle of BFE. Have I learnt that right? Yeah, I think it's what we'd call in the arse end of nowhere. I read that in the comments after the video I did of US phrases yesterday. I like that. I think, is it BFE, as in middle of nowhere.
Number 47,
Arse end of
Arkansas.
nowhere.
For being called the land of opportunity, Arkansas sure doesn't have much of it, with the third lowest income, second worst healthcare, fifth highest poverty rate, and fourth highest crime rate. But considering many Arkansans take imitating the calls of waterfowl more seriously than improving the quality of life, I'm not surprised. And yeah, the World Championship duck calling contest takes place in Stuttgart, and the duck callers go hard. Number 46, Alabama.
Traditions be
The most
traditions.
exciting thing to do in Alabama is read its 389,000 word constitution, which is more than 85 times the length of the US Constitution. Well, unless you live in Huntsville, which hopefully you do, because living anywhere else in the state means you're probably in poverty, surrounded by crime, and gonna die before you turn 75. Number 45, Kentucky.
If these were the places that he's going through, they looked alright to me so far.
Sure, Kentucky may have the fourth highest poverty rate and third
But it is all the stuff on stats on paper and it, not the visual stuff.
worst economic outlook of any state, but hey, at least 5. Number 45, Kentucky. Sure, Kentucky may have the fourth highest poverty rate and third worst economic outlook of any state, but hey, at least there are 2 barrels of bourbon for every Kentuckian, and $150 million is wagered on the Kentucky Derby each year. Priorities, am I right? Number 44, West Virginia. After being decimated for decades by the failing coal industry, things may be looking up for West Virginia. Sure, it still has the 4th worst healthcare, 5th worst schools, 3rd worst economy, the worst infrastructure, and 2nd lowest median household income at just $48,800. But those are huge improvements from where the state was just 5 years ago. Not to mention, it's the 2nd cheapest state, and the scenery is stunning.
It's that rock there. I don't even want to call it a cliff. I don't know what it is. It's proper thin and narrow, isn't it? Is that real? But again, I can't believe I have to question things. Remember that old saying, the camera never lies? Now it's like you can't trust anything you bloody see.
Number 43.
See, I would have said all these images so far was real, but I thought they all were on the other things that I've checked out so far.
Tennessee. Loved by
Tennessee.
bachelorettes, nature enthusiasts, and country music fans alike, Tennessee sure is fun to visit. But not everything is sweet like Tennessee whiskey, as the healthcare and education systems are abysmal, the cost of living is skyrocketing, and it has the 3rd highest violent crime rate. In fact, Memphis just passed St. Louis for the title of most dangerous city in America. And while the economy, particularly in Nashville, is growing fast, wages are still nearly 10 grand below the national average. Number 42, Oklahoma. What can I say? Okay is okay, I guess.
See, that's one thing I have noticed as well with your cities. I watch a lot of stuff, but I know New York has Central Park and stuff like that, and I've checked out other parks across America, but the only name I can remember is Central Park. It's the most famous one, it has to be. It is over here anyway, because of friends. But yeah, I always had this vision because of what I hear American YouTubers saying that when they come over here, that they don't see as much greenery in the city back over there, back in the US. But everything that I see, all the cities look as though they're full of green. Literally.
I mean, the healthcare, schools, crime, and poverty are all bad, but at least the infrastructure
Assuming the images are real. Infrastructure.
and economy are decent, and it's dirt cheap. Although, with most of the state looking like this, it's not exactly prime real estate. Number 41, South Carolina. South Carolina was the 2nd most moved to state in 2020, but it shouldn't let that get to its head because it's still the 5th most dangerous state. And while Charleston's a cool historic city with a thriving economy, it's also gotten pretty expensive, and the rest of the state is really struggling. So
Are these single houses here, or they're like hotels or apartments or whatever? I can't really tell. They look like single homes to me. These giant homes.
those were the 10 worst states. But before we get to the other 40, make sure you
But at the same time, people had a massive house like that could afford a massive house like that. They wouldn't want it so close to others. Wouldn't want neighbours, would they? I don't know.
leave a like and subscribe. And we're also going to give an honorable mention to Washington, D.C., because if it were a state, it'd be right here on the list. Sure, it'd have by far the highest incomes, but it'd also be by far the most dangerous state and 8 times more politically corrupt than Louisiana. But it's not a state, well, yet. So here's real number 40. Number 40, Missouri. Okay, so Missouri is home to 4 of the 10 most dangerous U.S. cities, including St. Louis, the murder capital of America. But
That's a
outside
great
of the
shot.
crime, which is centralized to a few bad areas, Missouri is pretty underrated. The school's infrastructure and economy are all above average,
it
and there
should
are
be fun.
so many free attractions. Number 39, Nevada. COVID decimated Nevada's
What was with the shuttlecocks there? They're just art installations, or is this a sports place that they're at?
school's infrastructure and economy are all above average, and there are so many free attractions. Number 39, Nevada. COVID decimated Nevada's largely tourism-based economy, and
COVID
tourism
decimated
still hasn't
everything, didn't it?
returned to those pre-pandemic numbers. The unemployment rate is the highest in the nation, and while the economy is growing fast and starting to diversify, all the Californians moving in are also driving up the cost of living. Number 38. Arizona. Good luck enjoying Arizona's 300 sunny days a year or 22 beautiful national parks and monuments, because heat stroke will have you melting faster than an ice cube in boiling water, and allergies and pollution will have you sneezing yourself right back inside of your beige cookie cutter Arizona home. Oh wait, isn't that one your neighbor's house? Oh no, they just look the same. Number 37, Pennsylvania. A Rust Belt state that once played a
So that was the worst thing there, allergies and being too hot. Cope with that.
vital role in building cars, now destroys them with some of the worst potholes in infrastructure. But hey, while it's not safe for vehicles, at least Pennsylvania is one of the safest states. Although maybe not for your bank account, since the economy's been struggling for years and meth and opioid addiction is rampant. Number 36, Michigan. Outside of Detroit, Flint, and Lansing, Michigan isn't terrible. There's
What are these 5 buildings, or is there 4 buildings? I feel as though there's probably another smaller one behind the back of the taller one there. But yeah, if you know what these are, let me know, please. They look pretty modern. They look pretty eerie as well.
gorgeous forests and shoreline on 4 Great Lakes. The Upper Peninsula is magical, and it's home to some of the cutest small towns in the nation. Plus, it's really affordable. Number 35. Ohio. 60 years ago, Ohio, Michigan, and Pennsylvania were some of the best states to live in. But I guess that just shows the dark side of the American dream. Ohio has lost hundreds of thousands of good-paying jobs over the past 30 years, which has resulted in places like Cleveland and Dayton seeing poverty rates over 30%. But at least real estate's cheap, and Columbus's economy is thriving. Number 34. Alaska. Statistically, Alaska should be in the bottom 10. It has the highest violent crime rate, second worst public schools, gets frigid cold, and the cost of living is through the roof. But the last frontier
I get the cold, the fact that it's cold because it's Alaska, but I would never have thought, I'd have put that down in my brain, like, 'cause you don't hear that much about it crime-wise. I'd have put it down as one of the safest places to go, but clearly I'm not right.
makes up for it with stunning views, highest violent crime rate, second worst public schools, gets frigid cold, and the cost of living is through the roof. But the last frontier makes up for it with stunning views, great wages, and the fact that you get paid to live here. Not to mention, more Alaskans claim their state to be the best than any other state's residents, so that's gotta count for something, right? Number
I must have missed something there. It said something about being paid to live there. If you know what it meant, let me know. Surely you don't get paid to live there. Well, I don't know. Feels like some people are getting paid to live here at the minute.
33. Montana. While Alaska may be the most beautiful state, Montana
That is
isn't far
beautiful.
behind. And its infrastructure is a heck of a lot better. The Big Sky State is still pretty expensive, however, as many rich West Coasters buy second homes here. So even though the economy is the 7th fastest growing, wages aren't even close to keeping up with the cost of living. Number 32. Indiana. If you're a yodeler, Indiana
32.
is not the
I can't
place
read.
for you. It's flat, boring, and the pollution is so bad that you wouldn't even be able to get a yodel in before the atmosphere yodeled you into a fit of coughs. Now, if you're not a yodeler, there are worse places to live. But there are also 31 better places to live. Number 31. Illinois. More Illinoisans claim their state to be the worst than any other state's residents, and it shows, as they had the 3rd highest rate of outbound migration in 2020. But across the board, the Prairie State is pretty average, and Chicago is one of the most affordable big cities. Number 30. Texas. Texas is on track to be the largest state by population in 2050. And for good reason. The cities are mostly affordable, have tons of amenities, and their economies are booming. But the rural parts of the state have practically no economic opportunity. Not to mention the healthcare.
See that image there? Was that an image of the States? There. Is that an image of the States? That looks as though it could be here.
Opportunity. Not to mention the healthcare, safety, education, and air and water quality are all well below average too. Number 29, California. Traffic, homelessness, and the high cost of living are just some of the many.
California, places like California and Miami, I think when you have these dark nighttime pictures, they look amazing, they look great. I think the other's Miami. But yeah, that looks great. All the lights and that stadium or something there, isn't it?
Reasons people are leaving California. But the perfect weather, incredible economy, and breathtaking scenery are also just some of the.
Look at that. I thought it was just coming out of an hole in the direct side of the mountain then, but it kind of slopes off up there, doesn't it? Kind of V-shaped off, of course.
Many reasons people are staying. Or maybe they're just trying to get famous. In which case, I hate to break it to you, Ashley with an I, but it's probably not going to happen. Number 28, Delaware. Delaware might be the most forgettable state. Sure, there's nice beaches, but they're cold in the winter and overcrowded in the summer. And the rest of the state is more.
I'm sorry, I pause a lot, I know I do. But what am I actually looking at there? What are these things up here? Are they trying to get some sand dunes growing or something? It kind of looks like bushes that have been, because if it is, because they did that about 10-15 years ago here, and I think it's ruined the beach. It all looks like this, the beach up here, like that. But then they didn't fence off the plants that they planted. They just planted loads of sand dune style plants, of course. But yeah, it's took off now, and it just looks like it's been there forever. And I preferred it when they weren't there. But yeah, let me know if that's the same sort of thing. We're trying to get some sand dunes going.
And overcrowded in the summer. And the rest of the.
And it doesn't even protect, if they are trying to do that, trying to protect the town, it don't work.
Number 28, Delaware. Delaware might be the most forgettable state. Sure, there's nice beaches, but they're cold in the winter and overcrowded in the summer. And the rest of the state is more boring than Elon Musk's subterranean business ambitions. Number 27, South Dakota. You probably wouldn't expect a place in the middle of nowhere to be as economically diverse and self-dependent as South Dakota. But with Sioux Falls' thriving economy, no state income tax, great infrastructure, and excellent affordability, the Mount Rushmore state is the second most fiscally stable. Plus, the Black Hills and Badlands are simply magical. Number 26, Oregon. I lived here for a bit, and trust me, from the coastline to Crater Lake to Mount Hood, Oregon is stunning. And the economy and infrastructure are exceptional. The terrible education, pollution, property crime, and high cost of living do put a damper on things, though, as does the constant drizzle and gray skies if you live near Portland. Speaking of which, no, it is not just an Antifa overrun hellhole. It's got problems, but the media really overplays them. Number 25. Kansas. Kansas is smack dab in the middle of the country and smack dab in the middle of our list. It's pretty much the most average state. The end. Number 24. North Dakota. I might have spoken too soon about Kansas because North Dakota is even more uneventful. It's just as flat and boring, and on top of that, it gets really cold, which I guess at least keeps the cost of living low because no one wants to live here. Well, except for oil people, because there's tons of it and oil pays well. Number 23. Georgia. Does Georgia have exceptional infrastructure, great affordability, and a fast-growing economy? Yeah, but not everything is peach in the peach state because the healthcare, education, and crime rates could use some serious improvements. But hey, at least the Braves just won the World Series. Number 22. Rhode Island. Rhode Island may be the smallest state by total area, but it's not about the size. It's about the motion of the air quality. Yeah, the air quality is great. And it's also the 8th safest state with the 4th best healthcare and an above average economy. Sure, it's probably the worst state in New England, but considering how great most New England states are, that's really not that bad. Number 21. Wyoming. While Wyoming is over 80 times the size of Rhode Island,
Uh-oh, dare I say it, dare I try and say it. I don't know what happened. If you managed to make it past the halfway point of watching my video yesterday, I nearly had a bloody stroke, or I probably did have a stroke trying to say Wyoming. Oh, said it straight away. Oh my God, Wyoming, simple. Trying to say it, yes, I just couldn't do it.
Rhode Island has nearly twice as many people. Well, that is if anyone even lives here at all. I mean, does Wyoming really exist? There's no real cities.
Sorry, I'm pausing a lot. See, it's watching other videos that remind me of other videos that I've done in the past, so then I can say things that I need to say. Right in the comments, because I mentioned something about the people, because I know you ride bulls and that over there, some of you, because you're mental. I asked whether people ride bisons and buffaloes, and somebody in the comments let me know, yep, they do. Yes, they absolutely do. But yeah, if there's any videos of that, let me know. I would love to see that.
Really exist? There's no real cities, and it's over Rhode Island. Rhode Island has nearly twice as many people. Well, that is if anyone even lives here at all. I mean, does Wyoming really exist? There's no real cities, and it's over 100 miles between many of the closest towns. But if it does exist, it's the most tax-friendly state, and the great schools, low crime, beautiful nature, and affordable.
It sounds like an amazing place. It's not near any big cities or towns or whatever. Low on crime and that, and it all looks beautiful. Again, assuming that these are matching up with the place that he's talking about and not just random AI. I feel as though these are proper pictures.
Cost of living make it a pretty decent place to live. Allegedly. Number 20, New York. Wait, what? New York sucks! How the heck is it in the top 20? Well, haters gonna hate, but despite its flaws, there's no place like it. The city is a melting pot of everything, and upstate is affordable. And
see the skyscraper, the city scenes and that are so much nice. That looks beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it looks better in the dark. But everyone knows the New York skyline, I reckon, more than do the California skyline and that.
20! Well, haters gonna hate, but despite its flaws, there's no place like it. The city is a melting pot of...
Yeah, it looks great, all the lights and that. Looks proper futuristic spacey vibe, doesn't it?
Of everything, and upstate is affordable and gorgeous. Number 19, New Jersey. New York's less interesting, slightly richer, but mostly suburban neighbor would probably seem a lot cooler if it weren't so close to the big city. Sure, the infrastructure sucks and taxes are high, but New Jersey also has the third highest wages, fourth lowest poverty rate, fourth best healthcare, second best schools, and fifth lowest crime rate. Number 18. Wisconsin. Wisconsin may be cold, but that doesn't stop the residents of America's Dairyland from eating more ice cream than any other state. I mean, dairy and beer is the way of life here. And speaking of beer, it's kind of a problem with 7 of America's 10 drunkest cities being in the state. But that and the fact that it looks like this for half the year are pretty much the only cons about the place. Number 17. Florida. Brr! Most Wisconsinites probably wish they were in Florida this time of year, but great weather and beautiful beaches aren't the only reason people are moving here in droves. Florida's affordable.
Is that bit there the Keys, Florida Keys? I'm only guessing here. I feel as though it might be, do you know, that bit that we've just seen.
Schools are great, the economy is the 9th fastest growing, and the quality of life is tropically self-explanatory. Number 16, Iowa. Not to sound corny, but if you need a fresh start, Iowa is the place to go. Wages are good, crime is low, and it's soy cheap here that it actually ranked 5th on our cheapest states to live in for 2021 video.
Sounded like an Australian saying so. Sorry. It's like when they say no, nori. I gotta be careful because I know there's Australians watching because my analytics say hello. Yeah, it's not just Americans watching, there's Canadians and Australians too.
Number 15, Connecticut. Well, Iowa's a great place to save money. Connecticut is a great place to make money, with the nation's 6th highest median household income at $79 grand. It's also got the 3rd best public schools, 3rd best healthcare, and 3rd lowest violent crime rate. But there is a huge division of wealth between the affluent suburbs and impoverished cities. Number 14, North Carolina. North Carolina's economy is skyrocketing in cities like Raleigh and Charlotte, but the rural parts are really lagging behind, which holds the whole state back with an overall poverty rate of 13.6%. At least the people, education system, and outdoor activities are outstanding, though. Number 13. Maine. The rocky cliffs lining the coast and dense forests hugging the mountains and lakes easily make the land of lobsters the most beautiful state east of the Mississippi. And Maine's also by far the safest state, which makes sense since it's practically in Canada where everyone is suspiciously nice. Number 12. Maryland. Maryland is home to the highest wages in the nation with a median household income of $86,750, which has resulted in the 5th lowest poverty rate of just 9.1%. But that doesn't tell the whole story because while the DC and Baltimore suburbs are thriving, the rest of the state isn't in the best shape. Number 11. Virginia. The other state bordering DC might not have as high incomes as Maryland, but it's also a lot cheaper and safer with the 6th lowest violent crime rate. Not to mention, Virginia's got incredible schools, healthcare, opportunity, history, and nature. I honestly don't know how it's still a virgin, because it goes hard. Number 10. Nebraska. Yes, it's boring, but stats don't lie, and neither does the lowest unemployment rate in the nation. And with a booming economy, excellent affordability, and great schools, Nebraska really is the good life. Number 9. Hawaii. A gallon of milk may cost $5, and home values are by far the most expensive of any state. But can you really put a price on paradise? Well, considering Hawaii is home to the best healthcare system, healthiest residents, 4th highest wages, lowest stress levels, best air and water quality, and highest life expectancy, I'd say that's priceless. Number 8, Idaho. There are many reasons Idaho has been the fastest growing state for 4 years running. Boise's one of the best cities in the country. It's the 3rd safest state, and there are over 50 million acres of gorgeous, untouched nature. Number 7, Vermont. Once people move here, they don't leave. I promise that's not as ominous as it sounds. Basically, Vermont has such a high quality of life that no one wants to leave. There's great people, beautiful scenery, incredible infrastructure, no pollution, and it's the 4th safest state with the 5th best schools. Number 6, Colorado. The 58 14,000-foot mountains aren't the only thing that's high in Colorado, because the cost of living keeps going up. Now, thankfully, so do the incomes, as Colorado also has the 2nd best economy. Number 5. Minnesota. If you don't mind -40 in the winter, I don't know why you haven't moved to Minnesota yet. Because besides the weather, everything else here...
See, I still need to learn what the temperature changing from Celsius to Fahrenheit is. I ain't got a clue what -40 would be.
Is hot, with the 3rd best economic opportunity, 3rd highest life expectancy, 3rd lowest poverty
Sounds
rate,
cold.
and wonderful healthcare and infrastructure. Plus, you get to say, "Ope." Number 4. Washington. Sure, the mist gets so thick that you can hardly see at all, but you probably won't be spending much time outside anyway, since everyone here's a workaholic. I mean, you kind of have to be to afford the rent. The economy continues to be one of the best with no signs of slowing down, however, and the scenery is jaw-dropping. Now, before we get to the final 3, if you want us to update this list every year, let's hit 5,000 likes. Number 3. Massachusetts. Massachusetts is by far the most educated state, and it makes sense since it's also home to the best public schools and many of the highest paying jobs. Not to mention, it's got the lowest property crime rate, 2nd best healthcare, and so much history. Number 2. Utah. Huh? Utah? Yep, Utah totally heard me right. Not only is there breathtaking nature everywhere, Utah's also in the top 5
The people from Utah sound a little bit Canadian then, because that sounded Canadian how we just spoke, man.
pretty much every statistic that matters, including the #1 economy and 2nd lowest unemployment and poverty rates. No wonder Utonians are the happiest residents in the country. Number 1. New Hampshire. New Hampshire is nearly perfect in every category, from being the 2nd safest state to having by far the lowest poverty rate and best economic opportunity. Plus, the natural beauty is magical. It sure was a real battle between these 50 states. And
see, it was a bit archaic, I feel, the way he put them together, because the last one weren't even the best. I don't know. He kind of did his own thing with it, but yeah, they all look beautiful to me. But as I said, he was doing it on the what's the word? Some stats and that by the seams of it. But yeah, let me know in the comments whether you agree, disagree, or you think it was about spot on. But anyway, yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye, bye bye.